Hey guys, Todd with 306 Foxbody. Haven't seen you guys for a while. We've been in slow motion working on our workshop, doing a little bit of a tidy up and clean up. I want to go through the shop and get it all in order before I start working on the 95, because there's nothing worse when you start working on a car and you can't find anything because you got such a mess. So I'll show you guys in a few days what we're doing in the workshop. But anyways, my buddy Shane, he's been dismantling a few cars. He's been an excellent source of some Mustang parts, SN95, Foxbody, New Edge, and a few other things. So Shane said that he's got about a 91 Mustang out there. It is not at all running right, and it's kind of an interesting car. I think it's an LX, if I'm not mistaken. Has some body kit stuff on it, like some Celine ground effects, Cobra intake. It's got a it's supercharged. I think it's got an old Powerdyne supercharger. Anyways, we're going to check this car out, see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. I think from there he's going to know if he's going to either fix the engine or dismantle it. See what happens. So come along for the ride and we'll check out Shane's Mustang. Here we are at Shane's place. We've got this 302 here. He's going to fire it up. The methanol kit was running constantly, so we disconnected that. Okay, Shane, let's take a listen. To me, it just sounds like a misfire and an exhaust leak. It may not be that bad. Turn it off. So honestly, man, it sounds like a misfire and an exhaust leak. You might not have much wrong with it. So here, we'll do a little bit more investigating and take it from there. Okay, we're going to fire it up again. Shane said there's moisture coming out of the tailpipe. So let's check it out. This side doesn't sound as bad as the other side. We're going to check this out again here. Ah, there we go. We can hear a knock or something. Well, that's strange. You got fuel in it?
What do you want?
Well, that's strange. Now it wouldn't just run out of fuel just like that. Is the gauge up at all?
Yeah, it's up a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
But who knows? We can throw a splash in.
So besides this exhaust leak, It didn't sound great, but it didn't sound too bad. But now the oil was clean when we first checked it. Now it's definitely milkshake material. Let's see how full it is now. Let's see here. Whoops, it's somewhere above the full mark. You can see how frothy it is. So it's likely head gasket. Maybe it won't turn over now because maybe there's enough stuff in the cylinder that it's hydrolocked it, because it turned over so easy before. Given the fact the methanol likely stopped working, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, like I can only speculate, but worst case scenario, cracked block. Because with the aluminum heads, just say if this was pushing 8 or 9 psi, you know, just given the fact that the size of the pulley, say if it was pushing 7 psi, either cracked block or broken rings. Or a fellow with a dyno told me that methanol works, but there's your single point of failure. Don't rely on it. So when I was in Calgary with my 86, Matthew at Tech Motion, he went to tune my car, and he says, I'm going to shut the meth off and I'm going to tune it. We'll put the meth just for the top end, just kind of a little icing on the cake. But he says I wouldn't rely on it. So anyways, Matt goes and shuts my methanol off. And I had the Supercharged 351, about 9 pounds of boost, Pro Charger, you know, a lot of other stuff done to it. And when we went to go through the gears, he was kind of going up to 3,000 RPM, see how everything is, and go up to 4,000. He says to me, how long have you had this? How long have you had this methanol on? I said, well, since my 302, which was a few years earlier. And he says, you're hitting 100% duty cycle on your 50-pound injectors at about, say, 4,500 RPM. And the meth was kicking in at about 4,000. He said, that's what saved your engine. And thank goodness that the pump didn't ever quit or get plugged. So methanol obviously works for cars, but a guy has to be on top of it. So if you can intercool it, all the better. But yeah, I think something, now that we see a milkshake in the motor, I think something's definitely hurt. So while we're on the topic of methanol injection, I know the kit that my 86 had was, you know, it was a really old school kit that maybe got triggered at a certain RPM, and I had a light on the dash so you knew the pump was running, but you still don't know if possibly the nozzle is plugged or really what's going on with it. There was nothing being really regulated. So just the other day I was talking to my buddy Ryan. He's got a 2018 M2 with methanol injection. It's turbocharged. And you said there's safeguards that are kind of built into the tune. What are they kind of all about?
Yeah, if the pump fails or the injector nozzle is plugged and the flow rate is compromised, there are certain sensors and safeguards that will detune everything to make sure that the engine stays safe and there's no damage to anything.
I guess that's like a lot of OEM manufacturer stuff. Like they won't let certain transmissions go into overdrive until they're up to temperature, unless it's a really cold day or whatever. So if is it built into the tune? So with it's triggered through the programming using factory sensors and stuff?
Yes, this particular meth kit is tuned based on boost. So the higher the boost, the more meth it sprays in. And then if something goes wrong, it'll detune, stopping the boost, and then which then shuts everything down to make sure everything is safe.
Yeah, and on my 86, you know, I would never have had that. So let's face it, when you're going through a run, and who's really looking at the little orange light on the dash to make sure that the pump is running? Thank goodness for technology. It could really save what's happening with your motor. You know, let's face it, you don't want to lean it out. And if there's a motor that's programmed, if there's a motor that's tuned to have the methanol take care of any detonation and intercooling on the top end, and you're really relying on it, well, that's what could really cook a motor really quick in the long run. So yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't really know they had that, and yeah, I wasn't aware of that until Ryan told me about it. So yeah, it's installed on his 2018 M2, and it's turboed, intercooled, methanol injection. It's got a lot of stuff to it, about 600 horsepower now.
Give or take.
Yeah, it's a nice car and a ride in it, and I'll tell you, if you don't know much about these cars, they'll really surprise you. So look out, Foxbody owners. These things are a force to be reckoned with. So thanks to Ryan for sharing that with us, and back to the rest of the video. Okay, Shane and I were just talking here. He's going to pull the motor out. If it was just a connecting rod or something, we wouldn't have coolant in the oil. I think we're going to find coolant in one of the cylinders, and obviously I think that it locked up the motor. You want to try starting it one more time? Just one last one? So I think it was locked up, so let's see if it's still locked up. I'm sure it likely will be.
I think we'll leave it at that. And
yeah.
It's not totally locked like if it's trying.
Yeah.
But that's a good enough.
Shane's going to rip it apart, and it'd be interesting to see. I'm just speculating. It's likely head gasket, obviously. That's why the oil's in the coolant's in the oil. But when I revved it up, it didn't really sound that bad besides that exhaust leak. But obviously there's more going on. So we'll wait and find out. We'll give you guys an update, and we'll let Shane get at her and do his thing. And he's got a few other Foxbodies and SN95s and New Edge stuff to part out and parts. So if you're here in Saskatchewan or Western Manitoba or even Alberta, if you need a few parts, Shane's on, where are you on, Western Foxbody Canada, buy and sell, or?
Yeah, on there, 306.
306.
Some Kijiji ads.
Kijiji ads. So I've known Shane for a long time. He's awesome to deal with, and if you're looking for the odd part, hey, he's a good source for parts. So, well, we'll let you do your thing, man, and take it. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, you bet. Well, guys, what do you think? I know it's pretty hard for you to make a decision on what could be wrong with that car just from the little quick video snippet, but well, head gasket is a really high possibility. Possibly some cracked rings and stuff, but obviously head gasket to get the coolant in the oil. Worst case scenario, cracked block. Let me know what you think. What do you guys think are the most common issues on a 5-liter motor, especially supercharged? I'm thinking with the Power 9, it wasn't under too much boost. You know, maybe 6, 7, 8 pounds, and maybe 8 pounds at most. But hey, we'll see what happens when Shane takes it apart. Let us know in the comment section what you think, and we'll take her from there. Thanks for watching. Cheers.